Well, good day, all. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, and we are now sitting here around the 5th, actually, no, 6th of August. I take that back. August 6th, 2025, and we're about 6:15 p.m. Central Time. Well, the metals have been drifting sideways. It was a day of mostly whipping back and forth. Not a lot of super action, but doing that. The stock market tried the downside, then it came back up today, and it kept going up as the day went on. So the market is now reestablishing itself, trying to be back into an uptrend. The dollar got hit hard today, down nearly 60 points, as the euros rallied back up and is challenging the 117 area again. In terms of news for the market, you have jobless claims in the morning at 7:30. We're going to have the second quarter 2025 prelim Nonfarm productivity data coming out at 7:30. We're going to see Atlanta Fed President Bostic deliver remarks in the morning to a virtual event being held at the Florida Institute. We'll see if he says anything about where he thinks interest rates are headed. Then we saw President Trump in a press conference today with Tim Cook of Apple, and a lot of things were brought up. First, the president said that 100% tariffs are coming on chips and semiconductors imported into the U.S., but there's a caveat. If the import is coming from a company that is already building a factory to manufacture chips and semis in the U.S., there will be no tariffs on those chips. Now, that can mean a lot of different things. In addition, you say these things, but what if you can't replace them anywhere else? So a lot of people will call this the taco trade again, where he says something and it starts chipping away and it becomes different. The part that he cares about is that components, where possible, are made in the U.S., and obviously Corning is a big winner on that. NVIDIA gets a win off of this in the aftermarket as they're building their chips here. President Putin has also been talking to Special Envoy Witkoff, and President Putin wants to meet with President Trump. And of course, President Trump said, well, he might be open to that, but Putin's got to meet with Ukrainian president, and that may stop everything. So don't know where this is going. My guess is you will see the tariffs put on Russia. The people that buy their oil will have a problem. He'll make things rough for Russia to keep the pressure on Putin to get him to finally end the war. We'll see where this all goes, but it's going to take some time. So as we come back to the markets and we look to see where we're at, why don't we go to the charts and do that right now? So as I come in and we look at the gold chart, it's still doing very well. It is holding above the 18-week average of closes. I think what the market's going to do is what we heard Kashkari, that's the Fed president of Minneapolis, talk about, and others, that it's hard to measure when we're going to see this impact from the tariffs because so many companies front-loaded goods before this happened. But they're coming. And when they do, I think that combination could be very powerful for gold to the upside. Right now, as I said the other day, I think you're caught between these two numbers, the low here, the high there, and you're just sort of hanging around in the center of those. And when you look at the 18-day average, that's about where you're trading from right now. Is there a bias to the market? Not really just yet. You have a lower low, higher high, but very important. You held the 100-day average. Now you're holding the 18. Where can the market go? Well, the next rally, I'd look for the 3,490 level. I wish it was 34,000. 3,490 level, the upper Bollinger Band. A lot of people are already talking $4,000 by year end. I'm not going to argue that. I see inflation coming at the end of the year. When we come to the momentum, still pointing up in the slow stochastic. When we take a look at the gold-silver ratio, silver's starting to catch up a little bit with the gold, but it hasn't crossed over. You can see where it's at here. And like the gold, it's caught between that big high and this low, and it's making its way back to fight a battle at the 18-day average of closes. In copper, as I've said, because of all that's going on with first 50% tariffs, then finding out that it didn't apply to refined copper, creating a squeeze in the market for weeks, where the London Metal Exchange, they were sending all the copper that they could into America to take advantage of our high price compared to the world price. And a lot of that copper made that, and boom, these people made some serious money. We haven't seen a lot in the news about it, but I know it had to happen. When I look at the platinum market here, you've got a market that's trying to break out above right through here. Maybe it too wants to get back to that 18-day average of closes. And was that it in the dollar? It's impossible to tell on this chart. You had a short covering wave. You pulled back to the 18-day average as you did. Again here, you went up, challenged the 100 in the Bollinger Band, and now you're pulling back. And on the close today, you actually had a sell signal as you had lower highs, lower lows, and with momentum pointing down. So until you get up and through the highs of Tuesday, the market is saying it could be ready to move even a bit lower here. So that's the things that I'm starting to watch. Now, do remember, one of the things that we offer is trade ideas, our market research, this charting software for you to give a try to. Go up here to the free offers, give it a click, and we'll see you when we send out all this information to you. I'll catch up with you in the morning and my other evening updates tonight. You have a great evening.